What's up, ACM? Welcome back to another tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about Rails development and how the web dev team is going to handle developing the ACM website. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to GitHub. If you're not already part of the ACM organization, then you should DM Chase or I being Nick, and we can get you inside of the organization. We have a bunch of people already. It's really nice. But as you go in here, there's going to be a couple of repositories that are shared to all of us, and the CBUACM website is one of them. So go ahead and open that up. And since you're in the organization, you have access to cloning and pushing to this repository to some degree or another. So we're going to go ahead and copy this. And then we're going to go ahead and open up a command prompt. There's a link in Discord somewhere, I think. If we go to useful resources, there's a link on how to enable SSH on Windows 10 if you don't have it enabled already. So go ahead and make sure that you have that enabled. And then if you go to Web General, we have access to the Raspberry Pi. So I'm going to SSH to ACM at that address, and then we'll type in the password. Cool beans, and now we're logged in. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new directory. Actually, I'll navigate to ACM first. Change into ACM. There should already be the CBUACM website in here, maybe like a front end thing. But I'm going to create a new directory called Nix directory. Nix directory dev, whatever. And then I'm going to change into that, and then I'm going to get clone right in here. And actually, it might be easier to just give it a name. So I'm going to remove my file real quick, and then I'm going to say get clone, paste that link. Oh, that's not the link. Paste that link right there. And then I'll call it Nix dev. Whatever. So it's going to clone it into a new directory called nixdev, as you can see right there. Going to change into that directory, and the nice thing is nobody should have push access to the master branch, and that's simply because if everybody had push access to the master branch, it would be chaotic. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to check out a new branch, and do that just like, actually, first thing that I'm going to do is, yeah, we can check it out. Why not? Check out a new branch, -b, and we'll call it Nick. Yeah, sure. So I switch to a new branch, and then I'm going to just push that real quick. So git push, and then it'll give me this nice little command, and push origin upstream Nick. I'm going to type in my username credentials, because I am uploading. Cool. It's going to push that. And then we'll notice on here that a new push is being made, and I now have my Nick branch. So I can add everything I want to this, and it's super, super chill. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull this repository onto my desktop. So I'm going to go somewhere. I'm going to personally go to project, and I'm going to go to random, because why not? Great place to do that. And then I'll navigate here on another terminal. Change directory to that directory. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Git clone this beautiful piece of code right here. And then I'll just call it Nix test or whatever. Nix dev. Sure. Do the same thing. If you don't already have Git installed on your computer, that's another thing that you can do. You can just go to the Git website. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. You can go to the Git website right here. And then you got some beautiful downloads in the downloads page for Windows, and it's fantastic. So go ahead and install that, get that running, one through the installer, and you'll get up and running. So now I'm going to change into that directory, which is nixdev. Fantastic. And I'm actually just going to open that up on Sublime Text, because Sublime Text is amazing. And now I have a working copy of what I'm doing. Since in a previous video I showed you guys all how to connect to a remote server using Sublime Text, you guys can go ahead and follow that. I'm just going to set up a remote real quick. And and then say true, because that's what I like, and then username is back to whatever that username is on Discord, or excuse me, ACM. That is ACM for the, no, yeah, host, I was right. And then username is ACM. And then it'll prompt me for the password. And then my path is going to be whatever path I pulled it onto over here. So if I just type PWD, that stands for print working directory. So I can copy that right there, slap that in right there, and give that a save. Cool, so now any change I make here, and if I click Control S to save it, it'll push that. Alternatively, I could just at any point go here and say sync my local to the remote, or remote to local, or whatever, or upload folder or download folder, and that'll do the same concept, so that's no problem. So I'm actually going to go ahead, I'll leave this open, but for development reasons we don't actually need this open, we just need it to run the server later. So now that I'm here in my side of things, I'm going to check out the Nick branch again, just so I'm working on the proper branch. So Nick, or actually I'm just going to say check out Nick. You only need to do -B when you're making a new branch. So cool, switch to new branch Nick, switch branch to set tracker mode. Cool, we're chilling. And then now I can start developing. So maybe I'm going to go over here, I'll go to my views for something or another, have a welcome view right here, and I'll type, whoa, that's not what I meant to do, don't close OBS, no. I'll type maybe, whoa, I cannot type, clearly. Nick is awesome. Cool, I'll save that. And then it's going to ask me for my password because I asked for save, so the password for the ACM Pi. It's going to push that, and it's great. And then I can go back here, and I can actually say git add, git commit, with a message, Nick is awesome. I'm so narcissistic. And then might ask you for some configuration, but I don't always think it's necessary. You can suppress this message. That's fine. We don't need an author for this. And then I'll say git push. It'll ask me for my credentials. Perfectly fine. And now I've successfully pushed my changes. So if we go back to GitHub, it'll show these changes. If I just refresh real quick, it'll show me Nick is awesome, and I can follow it and be like, oh, where's the Nick? Oh, Nick is awesome in views. Oh, great. He changed his view to say that he's awesome. That's very narcissistic of him. Okay, whatever. But say, for instance, I'm like, this is it. This is my moment. I'm ready. I want to make these changes and merge them into the actual website. Fantastic. You can go to pull requests, and you can open a new pull request right here. My bad. So if you start a new pull request, this is essentially saying, my code is good. I want to ask and request to push that to the master branch. So the base of master branch, I'm going to say merge Nick with the master. It's going to show you your changes and whatnot. Oh, okay, he deleted these 2 lines. He added this line. Okay, fantastic. And then I'm just going to be like, cool, this is ready. Create a pull request. Guys, I'm so cool. I am so cool. Merge this change, please. And then I'll create a pull request. And then if you'll notice, this is what you're going to see. Review required. At least 1 approving review is required. Merging can be performed automatically. It's great. So what's going to happen now is one of the officers has to come in here, review your code changes, what you want to change, and then they can approve it, and then it can be merged. Since I am an admin, I have access to override this. That's why it's red, but it allows me to override it. But you guys shouldn't have that ability. And so then what's going to happen is they might come over here. They'll check the commit history. They'll be like, oh, okay, what'd you do? Oh, you changed some things here. Oh, it's kind of weird. Okay. And they can go over to files changed, review changes, and they can leave comments. So they can say, oh, this is great, but like you're kind of full of yourself. Full of it. I don't know how to type. And they might, leave this comment, and then you can, make changes. You can be like, oh yeah, he likes it, but like he thinks I'm a narcissist. Maybe I should go back and change that. And then you're like, okay, like I'm gonna go make some changes. So you go back in here and you're like, ACM is awesome. And then maybe I'll create like a new paragraph tag. Go ACM. All right, save that, go back over to the server. We're gonna commit, instead of Nick is awesome, this commit's gonna called ACM is awesome, and then we're gonna push. Type in my credentials. Fantastic. And then we'll go back, and this is great. Oh, look, you know, he started with Nick is awesome. Somebody reviewed it, said it's great, but you're kind of like full of it. And then he changed it to ACM is awesome. This is great. At this point, I actually can't technically review my own changes, I don't think. I think that's technically not allowed. Yeah, can't approve their own pull request. So we would at this point be like, ah, yeah, ACM is awesome. Cool beans. We'll approve it. And then we can go back into here and be like, cool, merge pull request. And at this point, I'll use my administrator privileges to merge this pull request. We'll merge it. And then we'll notice now that this has been successfully merged. There are no pending pull requests that are now active. But if we go to the master branch has these changes. ACM is awesome. So this is essentially the workflow that you guys are going to be experiencing. This is how we're going to be doing things. The only difference between that is, say for instance, and I didn't actually go through this, but you want to run these changes. That's perfectly fine. You can just do Rails S for server, or Rails server is the full word, and you'll type -b. This is binding, and you'll bind it to 0.0.0.0, which just means any open IP address can access this web server. It's not stuck on one IP address. And then you'll type -p for a port. And by default, the port is 3000. So you're going to have to make sure that if you're running it, you're using a different port than everybody else. So I might use 3001, for instance. It's going to run the server. It's going to tell me if there's any errors. It's going to tell me if there's whatever. And then once it's running, it doesn't want to run. Exiting. Why is it exiting? How sad. Puma starting in single mode. Maybe I already have a server running. Oh, I do already have a server running on 3001. I wonder what server that is. 3002 it is. Perfect. So now I have the server up and running. We'll just go back over to Discord, grab that IP address, go back over here, and run this on 3002. And we'll see. Okay, it's working. There you go. ACM is awesome. Go ACM. So that's how you can test your own thing, as long as you're not using somebody else's port, and you'll know it if, you know, it doesn't work and tells you address is already in use, port 3001. So just make sure you're not using other people's ports, and you'll be fine. And then you can actually run your own instance of the server, and we can run probably as many instances as we want. Depends. But yeah, that's about it. Control C to turn off the server. Yeah, so happy coding, team. I'm gonna delete my directory, because who needs that? rm nixdev. Y'all don't need to see me deleting everything. Cool. Peace in the Middle East, team.